Hey, everybody. I thought my next reading, from my brother's suggestion, the Berit Hadashah, the renewed covenant. Here we go, starting with Mattithyahu. Chapter 1. The book of the genealogy of YHWH HaMashiach, Bane of David, Bane of Avraham. Avraham brought forth Yitzchak, and Yitzchak brought forth Yaakov, and Yaakov brought forth Yehudah and his brothers. And Yehudah brought forth Peretz and Zerach by Tamar. And Peretz brought forth Chetzron, and Chetzron brought forth Ram, and Ram brought forth Aminadab, and Aminadab brought forth Nachshon, and Nachshon brought forth Salmon, and Salmon brought forth Boaz by Rachav, and Boaz brought forth Aveg by Ruth, and Aveg brought forth Yishai, and Yishai brought forth David the sovereign, and David the sovereign brought forth Shlomo by Uriah's wife, and Shlomo brought forth Rechavam, and Rechavam brought forth Aviyah, and Aviyah brought forth Asa. Asa brought forth Yehoshaphat, and Yehoshaphat brought forth Yoram, and Yoram brought forth Uzziah, and Uzziah brought forth Jotham, and Jotham brought forth Ahaz, and Ahaz brought forth Chizkiyahu, and Chizkiyahu brought forth Manasseh, and Manasseh brought forth Ammon, and Ammon brought forth Yoshiyahu, and Yoshiyahu brought forth Yechunyah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babel. And after the exile to Babel, Yechunyah brought forth Shealtiel, and Shealtiel brought forth Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel brought forth Avihud, and Avihud brought forth Eliakim, and Eliakim brought forth Azor, and Azor brought forth Sistiok. Oops, got that wrong. Sadok, and Sadok brought forth Akim, and Akim brought forth Elihud, and Elihud brought forth Elazar, and Elazar brought forth Matan, and Matan brought forth Yaakov, and Yaakov brought forth Yosef, the husband of Miriam, of whom was born YHWH, who was called Mashiach. Quite a lineage. And might I say, in this part you don't understand, I don't think you get it. Not for sure. I don't think you do. But Miriam, the mom, the flesh that bore YHWH, the Son of the Most High, was of the line of Lewi. Okay. Why YHWH is considered the Kohen Ha'Gadol in the Kehunah, high priesthood. If you want to use the English pagan equivalent. Anywho, okay. Now, So all the generations from Avraham to David were 14 generations, and from David until the exile to Babel were 14 generations, and from the exile to Babel until Mashiach, 14 generations. And the birth of YHWH HaMashiach was as follows. After his mother Miriam was engaged to Yosef, before they came together, she was found to be pregnant from the Ruach HaKodesh. And Yosef, her husband, being righteous and not wanting to make a show of her, had in mind to put her away secretly. But while he thought about this, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared to him in a dream, saying, Yosef, son of David, do not be afraid to take Miriam as your wife, for that which is in her was brought forth from the Ruach HaKodesh, and she shall give birth to a babe, and you shall call his name YHWH, for he shall save his people from their sins. And mind you this, if you consider yourself a Gentile, then you're of the world. If you believe, you're grafted in, which means you are his people. Continuing. And all this came to be in order to fill what was spoken by Yahweh through the Navi, saying, see, a maiden shall conceive, and she shall give birth to a babe, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which translated means they have L here. L. I don't agree with it. Sorry, I don't. Anything that's mainstream makes me go, because this world is about mainstream. Think about it. Okay. So I will say it will be the power and the Son of the Most High with us, because there's something fishy about Elohim and all that stuff, just like God. You know how I feel about it. If you don't, well, you know, I've got videos that, and it's not really how I feel. Okay. This is just brought about to my attention that these words aren't quite right. Anyway, and Yosef, awakening from his sleep, did as the messenger of Yahweh commanded him, and took his wife, but knew her not until she gave birth to her babe, the firstborn, and he called his name YHWH. Chapter 2. And YHWH, having been born in Bethlehem of Yehudah in the days of Herodes, the sovereign. See? Magi, they say Magi, or from the east, came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born sovereign of the Yahudim? For we saw his star, luminary, in the east, and have come to do reverence to him. And Herodes, the sovereign, having heard, was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And having gathered all the chief Kohanim and scribes of the people together, he asked them where HaMashiach was to be born. Excuse me. And they said to him, in Bethlehem of Yehudah, for thus it has been written by the Navi, which the Navi was Yeshayahu. Okay. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Yehudah, you are by no means among the rulers of Yehudah, for out of you shall come a ruler who shall shepherd my people Yisrael. Then Herodes, having called the Magi secretly, learned exactly, or Magi, I don't know how to pronounce that. I know in English it's Magi. Learned exactly from them what time that star appeared. And having sent them to Bethlehem, he said, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me, so that I too might go and do reverence to him." And having heard the sovereign, they went, and see, the star which they had seen in the east went before them until it came and stood over where the child was. And seeing the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And coming into the house, it says house, doesn't it? It says house in here. It doesn't say barn. It doesn't say any of that stuff. Okay. Into the house, they saw the child with Miriam, his mother, and fell down and did reverence to him. And opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream that they should not return to Herodes, they departed for their own country by another way. And when they had left, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared to Yosef in a dream, saying, "Arise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Mitzrayim, and remain there until I bring you word. For Herodes is about to seek the child to destroy him." And you know who put it into his heart to do that? And rising up, he took the child and his mother by night and departed for Mitzrayim, and remained there until the death of Herodes, to fill what was spoken by Yahweh through the Navi, saying, "Out of Mitzrayim I have called my bane." Then Herodes, having seen that he was fooled by the Magi, whatever they're called, the wise men, was greatly enraged, and he sent forth and slew all the male children in Bethlehem and in all its borders from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had exactly learned from the Magi. Then was filled what was spoken by Yirmiyahu the Navi, saying, "A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted because they were no more. And Herodes having died, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared in a dream to Yosef in Mitzrayim, saying, Arise, take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Yisrael, for those seeking the life of the child are dead. And rising up, he took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Yisrael. But hearing that Archelaus was reigning over Yehudah instead of his father Herodes, he was afraid to go there. And having been warned in a dream, he departed to the parts of Galilee, and came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth. Thus, to fill what was spoken by the Nevi'im, he shall be called the Nazarene. Boy, what it is. Sometimes you just get an itchy nose that just doesn't want to quit, does it? Okay, chapter 3. And in those days, Yochanan, the immerser, came proclaiming in the wilderness of Yehudah, and saying, Repent, for the reign of the Shamayim has come near. For this is who was spoken of by the Navi Yeshayahu, saying, A voice of one crying in the wilderness, Prepare the way of Yahweh, make his paths straight. And Yochanan had a garment of camel's hair, and a leather girdle about his waist, and his food was locusts and wild honey. Then Jerusalem and all Yehudah and all the country round the Yarden went out to him, and they were immersed by him in the Yarden, confessing their sins. And seeing many of the Pharisees and Sadducees coming to his immersion, he said to them, Brood of adders, who has warned you to flee from the coming wrath? Bear therefore fruits worthy of repentance, and do not think to say to yourselves, We have Abraham as father. For I say to you that the Most High is able to raise up children to Abraham from these stones. And the axe is already laid to the root of the trees. Every tree then which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. I indeed immerse you in water unto repentance, but he who is coming after me is mightier than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to bear. He shall immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand, and he shall thoroughly cleanse his threshing floor and gather his wheat into the storehouse. But the chaff he shall burn with unquenchable fire. Then Yahushua came from Galil to Yochanan at the Yarden to be immersed by him. But Yochanan was hindering him, saying, I need to be immersed by you, and you come to me? But Yahushua answering said to him, permit it now, for thus it is fitting for us to fill all righteousness. Then he permitted him. And having been immersed, Yahushua went up immediately from the water, and see, the Shamayim were opened. And he saw the Ruach of Yahweh descending like a dove and coming upon him. And see, a voice out of the Shamayim saying, This is my Bane, the beloved, in whom I delight. Chapter 4. Then Yahushua was led up by the Ruach into the wilderness to be tried by the devil. Now, there are many of these things called devils, okay? There is a main one. Just saying. And after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the trier came and said to him, If you are the Bane of Yahweh, command that these stones become bread. But he answering said, It has been written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahweh. Interesting that the scriptures are actually called the bread of Chai, life. Then the devil took him up to the Kodesh city, Yerushalayim, put him on the edge of the Mikdash, and said to him, If you are the Bane of Yahweh, throw yourself down, for it has been written, He shall command his messengers concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone. Yahushua said to him, It has also been written, You shall not try Yahweh, the Most High, creator of all things, because that's who he is, and that's the title. My opinion, which matters nothing at all, I'm just saying. Anyway, again, the devil took him up on a very high mountain and showed him all the reigns of the world and their esteem. And he said to him, All these I shall give you if you fall down and worship me. Now, if he didn't have reign over the world, if he didn't have it then, how could he give it to him? Anyway, then Yahushua said to him, Go, Satan, for it has been written, You shall worship Yahweh, your creator. They use these words constantly. I just don't know what to say about it. I don't like to say them. And him alone you shall serve. Then the devil left him. And see, messengers came and attended him. And Yahushua, having heard that Yochanan had been put in prison, withdrew to Galil. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Kephar Nahum, which is by the sea, in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali, to fill what was spoken by Yeshayahu the Navi, saying, Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, the way of the sea, beyond the Yarden, Galil of the Gentiles. The people who sat in darkness saw a great light, and upon those who sat in the land and shadow of death, light arose to them. And in the beginning, let there be light. From the time that YHWH began to proclaim and to say, "Repent, for the reign of the Shamayim has drawn near." And YHWH, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Shimon, called Kepha, and Andri, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. YHWH said to them, "Follow me, and I shall make you fishers of men." And immediately they left their nets and followed him. And going on from there, he saw two other brothers, Yaakov of Zavdai, and Yochanan, his brother, in the boat with Zavdai, their father, mending their nets. And he called them. And immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. And YHWH went about all Galilee teaching. Grace, are you having a problem, honey? Oh, grab a hairball. Okay. And YHWH went about all Galilee teaching in their congregations and proclaiming the good news. The good news. The Besorah is the good news. The Besorah of the reign. And healing every disease and every bodily weakness among the people. And news about him went out into all Syria, and they brought to him all who were sick, afflicted with various diseases and pains, and those who were demon-possessed, and epileptics and paralytics, and he healed them. And large crowds from Galilee and Decapolis, and Jerusalem, and Yehudah, and beyond the Jordan, followed him. Chapter 5. But when he saw the crowds, he went up on a mountain. And when he was seated, his Talmudim came to him. And having opened his mouth, he was teaching them, saying, this is what they call the Beatitudes. Why do they call it that? Well, because they're beautifully said, and it is a beautiful thing to understand that your Creator loves you. We are in this as a teaching. If you don't learn from it, then you're lost. Anyway, and having opened his mouth, he was teaching them, saying, Baruch are the poor in spirit, because theirs is the reign of the Shamayim. Baruch are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. Baruch are the meek, because they shall inherit the earth. Baruch are the compassionate, because they shall obtain compassion. Baruch are the clean in heart, because they shall see the Most High. Baruch are the peacemakers, because they shall be called sons of the Most High. Baruch are those persecuted for righteousness' sake, because theirs is the reign of the Shamayim. Baruch are you when they reproach and persecute you and falsely say every wicked word against you for my sake. Rejoice and be glad, because your reward in the Shamayim is great. For in this way they persecuted the Nevi'im who were before you. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt becomes tasteless, how shall it be seasoned? For it is no longer of any use, but to be thrown out and to be trodden down by men. You are the light of the world. It is impossible for a city to be hidden on a mountain, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it shines to all those in the house. Let your light so shine before men, so that they see your good works and praise your Father who is in the Shamayim. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the Nevi'im. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. For truly, I say to you, till the Shamayim and the Aretz pass away, 1 yod or 1 tittle shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Whoever then breaks one of these least of these commands and teaches men so shall be called least in the reign of the Shamayim. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the Shamayim. For I say to you that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall by no means enter into the reign of the Shamayim. You heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment. But I say to you that whoever is wroth with his brother without a cause shall be liable to judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Acha, shall be liable to the Sanhedrin. But whoever says, you fool, shall be liable to fire of Gehenna. If then you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother holds whatever against you, leave your gift there before the altar, and go, first to make peace with your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Be well-minded with your opponent promptly while you are on the way with him, lest your opponent deliver you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and you be thrown in prison. Truly I say to you, you shall by no means get out of there till you have paid the last quarter or farthing. You heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone looking at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. And it has been said, whoever puts away his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that whoever puts away his wife, except for the matter of whoring, infidelity, adultery, fornication, all that, makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a woman who has been put away commits adultery. Now, it may seem a harsh thing. Two people get married, say the man's abusive and beats her constantly. If she's not a believer, she'll divorce him or try to get away. It's hard to say. Abuse is real. Also, the only justifiable cause, it says right here, is adultery. Divorce comes after adultery. Once the marriage bed is defiled, there's no marriage. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to Yahweh. But I say to you, do not swear falsely at all. Neither by the Shamayim, because it is the Most High's throne, nor by the Eretz, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great sovereign. Nor swear by your head, because you are not able to make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, and your no be no. And what goes beyond these is from the wicked one. You know, that middle thing called maybe. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the wicked, but whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. And he who wants to sue you and take away your inner garment, let him have your outer garment as well. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him too. Give to him who asks of you, and from him who wants to borrow from you. Do not turn away. You heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Correct those cursing you, do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you, so that you become sons of your Father in the Shamayim, because he makes his sun rise on the wicked and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. For if you love those loving you, what reward have you? Are the tax collectors not doing the same too? And if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more? Are the tax collectors not doing so too? Therefore, be perfect as your Father in the Shamayim is perfect. Perfection for us is very hard. Self-control is the hardest. Taming your flesh, not listening to man, listening to him, listening to his words, right here. Beware of doing your deeds, chapter 6. Beware of doing your kind deeds before men, in order to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in the Shamayim. Thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the congregations and in the streets, to be praised by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your kind deed shall be seen in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the congregations and on the corners of the streets to be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. Did you catch that? But you, when you pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. I have a really close sister. I call her my spiritual daughter because she's maybe a year or two older than my son. She said to me once that the closet is here. What is the one thing that this world can't get to? What is the one thing, those winged ones that are running stuff and all those rich people and all that stuff? Why these data centers? Why these chips? Why the Wi-Fi? Why all this stuff? They can't get here. Only the Most High can get here. This is your closet. Remember that. Okay, sorry. Oh, yeah. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the Gentiles, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Thus, then, is the way you should pray. Our Father who is in the Shamayim, let your name be Kodesh. Let your rain come. Let your desire be done on the Eretz as it is in the Shamayim. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, our sins, as we forgive our debtors, those that do things against us. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked ones, because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your Father of the Shamayim shall also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. That's something to think about. And when you fast, do not be sad-faced like the hypocrites, For they disfigure their faces so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. So that you do not appear to men to be fasting. Oops, I skipped something. Sorry. But you, when you fast, anoint your head, wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Your secret place, your heart belongs to him. This is your hechal, belongs to him. All belongs to him. Okay. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on the earths, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Rich people should read this. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on the earths, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in the Shamayim, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cling to the one and despise the other. You're not able to serve the Most High and wealth, which in my opinion is what God is. They have it on their money, which came from the word many. Anyway, because of this I say to you, do not worry about your life and what you shall eat or drink, or what about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than the food, and the body more than the clothing? Look at the birds of the Shamayim, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into storehouses, yet your Father of the Shamayim feeds them. Are you not worth more than they? Which of you, by worrying, is able to add, one picos to his life's span? I would gather that is a time measurement. So why do you worry about clothing? Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And I say to you that even Shlomo, in all his esteem, was not dressed like one of these. But if the Most High so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you, oh, you of little belief? Do not worry then, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For all of these the Gentiles seek for. And your Father the Shamayim knows that you need all these. But seek first the reign of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these shall be added to you. Do not then worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will have its own worries. Each day has enough evil of itself. Yeah, we all know that, don't we? Each day is different. Chapter 7. Do not judge, lest you be judged. Now that one there, people take that too far. It's like, when you're looking at these evil people, these influencers and whatnot, actresses and musicians and all this stuff, you got to know they're all born in these families that do things to them to make them do what they want them to do. Don't judge them. Yeah, I love a lot of them, but they're crafty. They were made to do these things. In other words, don't hate these. Hate what they do. Hate the evil they do. Hate that stuff. But them, have compassion on them, for they know not what they do. Some do, that are on the very top, that are you know. But like I said, there's that. Anyway, for with what judgment you judge, there it is, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And when you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank or beam in your own eye. Yeah, don't look at someone else and point your finger and say, hey, blah, 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 blah. You better take that finger and point it at yourself and go, oh. Anyway. Or how is it that you say to your brother, remove that when you have one in your eye? That's profound. Okay. You're a hypocrite. Hypocrite. First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. Do not give what is kodesh to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be open. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the Shamayim give what is good to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Good saying. That's an old one too. See? Sorry. I couldn't help it. Okay. Okay. If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the Shamayim give what is good to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the Nevi'im. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction. And there are many who enter in through it, because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to chai, and there are few who find it. I know I want to find it. But beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. By their fruits you will know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree isn't able to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. A lot of people think there's no place of torment. Clearly, from reading this, clearly, Gehenna is there. It's for real. Not everyone who says to me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter into the reign of the Shamayim, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the Shamayim. Many shall say to me in that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not navu in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall say, I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. And it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on the house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And it came to be, when YHWH had ended these words, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one possessing authority, and not as the scribes. Scribes study law. In this case, of this time, study Torah. But corruption was already here. Chapter 8. And when he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. And see, a leper came and bowed before him, saying, "Oh, Adonai, if you desire, you are able to make me clean." Stretching out his hand, YHWH touched him, saying, "I desire it, be clean." And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. YHWH said to him, "See, mention it to no one. But go your way, show yourself to the Kohen, and offer the gift that Moshe commanded as a witness to them." And when YHWH had entered the Capharnaum, a captain came to him, appealing to him, saying, "Adonai, my servant is lying in the house, paralyzed, grievously tortured." YHWH said to him, "I shall come and heal him." The captain answering said, "Adonai, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. But only say a word, and my servant shall be healed. For I too am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it." And when YHWH heard, he marveled. And he said to those who followed, "Truly I say to you, not even in Israel have I found such great belief. And I say to you that many shall come from east and west and sit down with Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov in the reign of the Shamayim. But the sons of the rain shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." YHWH said to the captain, "Go, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you." And his servant was healed that hour. And when YHWH had come into the house of Kepha, he saw his wife's mother lying sick with inflammation. And boy, we all have a lot of that, don't we? Because of all the nasty things they do to our food, our air, and water, and etc. Sorry. And he touched her hand, and the inflammation left her, and she arose and served them. And when evening had come, they brought to him many who were demon-possessed. He cast out the spirits with a word and healed all who were sick, that it might be filled that was spoken by Yeshayahu the Navi, saying, "He himself took our weaknesses and bore our sicknesses." And when YHWH saw large crowds about him, he gave a command to go off to the other side. And a certain scribe, having come near, said to him, "Teacher, I shall follow you wherever you go." YHWH said to him, "The foxes have holes, and the birds of the Shamayim have nests, but the bane of Adam has nowhere to lay his head." And another of his Talmudim said to him, "Adonai, first let me go and bury my father." YHWH said to him, "Follow me, and leave the dead to bury their own dead." And when he entered into a boat, his Talmudim followed him. And see, a great gale arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered by the waves. But he was sleeping. And his Talmudim came to him and woke him up, saying, "Adonai, save us, we are perishing." He said to them, "Why are you afraid, O you of little belief?" And having risen, he rebuked the winds and the sea. It was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, "What is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" And when he came to the other side, to the country of the Girgashites, two demon-possessed ones met him, coming out of the tombs, very fierce, so that no one was able to pass that way. And see, they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, YHWH, bane of the Most High? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" And at a distance from them, there was a herd of many pigs feeding. And the demons begged him, saying, if you cast us out, send us into the herd of pigs. And he said to them, go. And they, coming out, went into the herd of pigs. And see, the entire herd of pigs rushed down the steep place into the sea and died in the water. And the herdsmen fled and went away into the city and reported all this, and about those possessed by demons. And see, all the city came out to meet YHWH. And when they saw him, they begged him to leave their borders. Chapter 9. And entering into a boat, he passed over and came to his own city. And see, they were bringing to him a paralytic lying on a bed. YHWH, seeing their belief, said to the paralytic, take courage, son, your sins have been forgiven. And see, some of the scribes said to themselves, this one blasphemes. YHWH, knowing their thoughts, said, why do you think wickedness in your hearts? For which is easier to say, your sins have been forgiven, or to say, rise and walk? But in order for you to know that the Bane of Adam possesses authority on the Eretz to give you to forgive sins, he then said to the paralytic, rise, take up your bed and go to your house. And he rose and went to his house. And when the crowd saw it, they marveled and praised the Most High, who had given such authority to men. And as YHWH passed on from there, he saw a man called Mattithyahu sitting at the tax office. And he said to him, follow me. And he rose and followed him. And it came to be, as YHWH sat at the table in the house, that see, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat down with him and his Talmudim. When the Pharisees saw it, they said to his Talmudim, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? YHWH, hearing this, said to them, those who are strong have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire compassion and not offering. Get that? I desire compassion and not offering. For I did not come to call the righteous to repentance, but sinners. Then the Talmudim of Yochanan came to him, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your Talmudim do not fast? YHWH said to them, are the friends of the bridegroom able to mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days shall come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they shall fast. And no one puts a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch pulls away from the garment, and the tear is made worse. I can attest to that. Neither do they put new wine into old wineskins, or else the wineskins burst and the wine is spilled out and the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into new wineskins, fresh ones, and both are preserved. While he was saying all this to them, see, a ruler came and bowed down to him, saying, my daughter is dead by now, but come and lay your hand on her, and she shall live. YHWH rose and followed him, his Talmudim too. And see, a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the tzitzit of his garment. For she said to herself, if only I touch his garment, I shall be healed. YHWH turned, and when he saw her, he said, take courage, daughter. Your belief has healed you. And the woman was healed from that hour. When YHWH came into the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a noise, he said to them, go back, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. But when the crowd was put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And this report went out into all the land. And as YHWH passed on from there, 2 blind men followed him, crying out and saying, Bane of David, have compassion on us. And when he came into the house, the blind men came to him. YHWH said to them, do you believe that I am able to do this? And they said to him, yes, Adonai. Then he touched their eyes, saying, according to your belief, let it be to you. And their eyes were opened. YHWH strictly ordered them, saying, see, let no one know. But when they went out, they made him known in all the land. And as they were going out, see, they brought to him a man, dumb and demon-possessed. And when the demon was cast out, the dumb one spoke. And the crowds marveled, saying, it was never seen like this in Israel. But the Pharisees said, he casts out demons by the ruler of the demons. YHWH went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their congregations and their assemblies, and proclaiming the Besorah of the reign, and healing every disease and every bodily weakness among the people. And having seen the crowds, he was moved with compassion for them, because they were weary and scattered as sheep, having no shepherd. Then he said to his Talmudim, the harvest truly is great, the workers are few. Pray then that the Adon of the harvest would send out workers to his harvest. And having called his 12, chapter 10, and having called his 12 Talmudim near, he gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal every disease and every bodily weakness. And these are the names of the 12 emissaries. First, Shimon, Kepha, Andri his brother, Yaakov, and Yochanan, the sons of Zavdai, Philippos, and Bartholomew, Toma, and Mattithyahu, the tax collector, Yaakov of Chelef, and Lavai, whose last name was Tadai, Shimon, the Canaanite, Yehudah from Kerioth, who also delivered him up. YHWH sent those 12 out, having commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the Gentiles, and do not enter a city of the Shemarites, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. And as you go, proclaim, saying, the reign of the Shamayim is drawn near. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without paying. Give without being paid. Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts, or a bag for the journey, or 2 undergarments, or sandals, or staves, for the worker is worthy of his food. And into whatever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. And as you enter into a house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever does not receive you nor hear your words, when you leave that house or city, shake off the dust from your feet. Truly I say to you, it shall be more bearable for the land of Sedom and Amorah in the day of judgment than for that city. See, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. But beware of men, for they shall deliver you up to Sanhedrins and flog you in their assemblies. And you shall be brought before governors and sovereigns for my sake, as a witness to them and to the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it shall be given to you in that hour what you shall speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Ruach of your Father speaking in you. For it is not, oh boy. And brother shall deliver up brother to death, and a father his children, and children shall rise up against parents and shall put them to death. And you shall be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. And when they persecute you in this city, flee to another. For truly I say to you, you shall by no means have gone through the cities of Israel before the bane of Adam comes. A Talmud is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for the Talmud to become like his teacher, and his servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more those of his household? Therefore, do not fear them, for whatever is covered shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be made known. Is that not going on right now? It surely is. And what I say to you in the dark, speak in the light. And what you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being. But rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground without your Father? And even the hairs of your head are all numbered. So do not fear. You are worth more than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who shall confess me before men, him I shall also confess before my Father who is in the Shamayim. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I shall also deny before my Father who is in the Shamayim. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to bring division, a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies are those of his own household. There's a lot like that. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take up his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life shall lose it, and he that has lost his life for my sake shall find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a Navi in the name of a Navi shall receive a Navi's reward. And he who receives a righteous one in the name of a righteous one shall receive a righteous one's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones a cold cupful only in the name of a Talmud, surely, truly, I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. Well, next time we'll finish. I probably won't finish. We'll probably do some more. Up to chapter 10 here. Next time will be chapter 11. Did you hear the words that the Son of the Most High spoke? Did you hear them? Those of you who think that you don't have to follow the ways of the Most High, you don't have to follow the Torah, you can eat anything you want, do anything you want, that's churchianity. Torah hasn't been done away with. It was fulfilled and is being fulfilled. The Torah was made for sinners. Get it? If you follow the way, are you not already following his Torah? Trying to seek his face? Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.